I'm Nancy Alexander from Ladybug Wreaths and Ladybug Certified. I am ready to make a summer wreath. I'm itching to make a summer wreath. We've got so many summer activities coming up. We've got picnics and parties and cookouts and all kinds of things planned. And I know you probably do too. So I want a wreath that I can use for the hot summer months. And I love using red hydrangeas. So we're going to use red hydrangeas. And we're going to use this beautiful burlap plaid ribbon. This red and green and white plaid or cream plaid. And we're also going to mix in some of this green and white gingham check. Looks like summer, doesn't it? That's what it's supposed to look like. Okay. Now, first thing we're going to do is start with our 14-inch wild birch wreath. And I know you all know we use wild birch wreaths by now. We have someone who makes these especially for us. If you see birch wreaths for sale somewhere else, I guarantee you they're not like these because these are all handmade. And I can't make a wreath without honeysuckle vine. We just love using honeysuckle. We love the way it makes our wreaths look so wild. I'm just going to get the end of a piece and I'm just going to stick it in. Now, you'd probably think when I start, I know exactly where these loops are going to go and how they're going to look, but I don't. I've got it wrapped all around me back here. So I'm just going to let it curl the way it wants to curl, except around my legs. And I want it to stick out some kind of wild. And that one's wanting to stick out that way, so I'm going to let it. But I'm going to tie it quickly right there with a pipe cleaner. Always use pipe cleaners in your wreaths. They just help anchor things in. I use them to tie my bows with. And don't worry about it showing because we're going to use some moss to cover up where we've tied everything as we go, so you won't even see it. And I'm going to leave the pieces hanging out the back right now. But when we're through, we'll go around, we'll turn the wreath around and clean up the back. Boy, this really is a wild one. And look, I'm going to let it hang way down right here. It's wanting to do it anyway, so I'm not going to fight with it. I'm going to tie it right here. And notice I'm sticking it all the way through. And I'm going to tie my pipe cleaner around it. Pipe cleaner or chenille stem, whatever, however you want to call it. Now I think I need to cut some of this off because it is getting a little bit too wild. And if I need some more, I'll pull up another piece. And I've got some of these little shorter ones. I'm going to bring this on up to the top. If y'all hear something outside, it's my wind chimes. We've got the door open today because it is so pretty outside. And I thought, well, I've got my mic on, so I think you can hear me good, but you probably hear the wind chimes too. Have you been making any wreaths lately? I looked yesterday on Etsy. A lot of people have started making their spring and summer and Valentine wreaths and Easter wreaths. So it's time to get started. Okay, I'm pulling that around and I notice this is not tied quite tight enough because it's wiggling a little bit. So I'm going to twist it a little bit more. Sometimes it's hard to get them really secure, but that's very important when you're making a wreath, that you want it to be very secure as you're going. Now, look at here. I've ended up with a little spot. I'm going to make this, try to stick right through here. I have a little something special I'm going to put in this wreath. And this little loop right here is going to help hold it in. That is, if I can get it to go in a little bit further. Yeah, I'm going to have to tie that. It's not going to... Okay. I'm going to leave it sticking out that much. But I'm going to tie it into one side and tie it into the other side. The birds are so pretty today singing. We filled up our feeders just a few days ago and they're almost empty again. Now I'm going to pull the other side of this loop down a little bit since I couldn't pull it in any tighter than I wanted to. This makes it a little bit smaller, which is what I wanted. I've already got a mess coming out the back of this wreath, but that's okay. Now I've still got a couple of little wild ones. Now I'm only going to use just a little piece of a pipe cleaner right here. I'll cut off the other end. And again, I'm going to hide this in a few minutes with my moss and you won't see where I've tied any of these in. And this one's just kind of sticking out, but it's a little bit too wild, so I'm going to tuck it in. And some of these I started with have gotten looser. So I'm going to tie it again. Making a wreath is like building something. You start with a really firm, tight foundation. And if you do, everything that you add on top of that is going to hold up really good. It's going to be secured really well. Now you'll do what I do. You'll just have to take it off of your easel sometimes and tie it from the back. Kim's getting me a piece of moss. You can get on camera, you know. I keep trying, y'all. One day I'll get her and she won't know it. Okay. See the mess on the back of my wreath? That's not going to show later. Now the first thing that I did put a pipe cleaner around some of the main part of my wreath and twisted it together to make a little loop. So that was our hanger, and I forgot to tell you in the beginning, I'm sorry. But see, I put the hanger on this loop up here on my easel. Now I'm going to cut some of these pipe cleaners off because they're just bothering me right now. They're sticking out too much. I got too many of them. Now I'm going to shoot glue in on top of every one of these. Then I'm going to add the moss. Okay. And I love using sheet moss. It just makes it look so natural and so woodsy, and it hides picks, it hides all of these pipe cleaners, it hides raw stems. You have to be really careful. Ouch! Don't do what I just did. I was going to say turn it back and forth so it doesn't go through the moss, but it did. I'll give you a little hint right here. If you drip glue on your hand or your arm, anywhere, I'm very tempted to just grab it and pull it off right when it hits it. But if you do, it will pull skin off too. So if it hurts really badly, this one's not quite that bad, but if it was really bad, I would be standing over there at the sink with cold water running on it, and I wouldn't leave until the glue just peeled off by itself. And it will. It will peel off without taking your skin. But if you try to pull it off yourself without running water over it, yes, it will pull skin off with it, and you don't want. Boy, I'm really getting it today. But you don't want to pull skin off. I'm adding some more moss. I've got 2 more places. I'm covering myself up with it. I've got 1 more piece at the top. Now we'll even add more moss later as we go along, and I'll add moss at the end also. Now we are ready to add our greens. I'm going to put this moss over on the front of the counter. Now, since moss is harvested live, you're going to have little pieces of dirt and twigs and dried moss that come out from the bottom of it, no matter what you do. But I love using it so much, it's okay. But I don't like it all over my counter. I have to get it back off. Now, the next thing we always add is ficus leaves. I've got some laying right here, and that helps us get the shape of our wreath. We use ficus leaves year-round, even in Christmas wreaths. I love using them, and you'll see when I get started what a difference it makes. I'm going to cut this into 3 sections. If I wanted some shorter pieces, I could cut it each one again. Now notice I'm just cutting it right down here at the joint and bending this piece up. So I cut that so that each piece has a long stem on it. And I'm going to, you see how our sticks on our birch wreaths, they flow down and out, and then they come up and out. So I'm going to bend this ficus branch at the same angle as the birch sticks. Everything I put in my wreath, the flowers, the filler, I try to bend it all in that same direction so it just is kind of flowing around, and when it comes out the bottom or it comes out the top. I'm getting glue strings all over me. We'll need some more. Oh, here's some. You'll go through a lot of glue sticks. I always do. That looks pretty coming out the top, doesn't it? And to learn more, check out the description below.